Alright, this is the typewriter. To open up the case, you squeeze both sides and pull up. You see that there's a keyhole right there. There is no key that I have, so don't poke anything in there because you might end up locking it and then we won't be able to open it up. Here's the typewriter. It's best to leave the typewriter attached to this briefcase, but if you need to remove it, what you need to do is press this lever on this side and this lever down at the same time, and then you can lift this off. This part up here, see how this moves a little bit? Right now it's locked in place and it stays locked, or you can lock it to keep it from moving around when this is all closed. And if you're moving this around, like when I ship this out to you, I'm going to make sure that it's locked so that it's not moving around and banging up the box. This is the lock for that. It's up right now. I'm going to push down, and now this can be moved. See that? I just pull it this way. If I want it to go that way, I can try pushing it. It doesn't do anything. So I have to push this button down. And right now I'm using these fingers to keep it in place. But it wants to go this way. Oh, there's the bell. See, if I push this button down, this button over here moves also. That's because they do the same thing. If I want it to go this way, it's locked. But it's a different kind of lock. I don't understand that lock. I just push this button again, just for the first little piece. And now it goes that way. Again. So that's how that moves. Okay. This here is a margin. To move it, you have to squeeze and then go one way or another. Right now I can't go more to the right because this has been moved. This is already as far as it can go that way. But if I center it, this margin can be moved farther. And what the margin does is it keeps a blank space on one side or the other of the page. Those are your side margins, and then there's top margins, which are up here and down here. But this is how you control these. And I'm going to set it to back to 1 inch. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. This one's also 1 inch away. It's at 7. This metal piece here can move, but I'm going to keep it all the way to the end. Actually, I'm going to line it up with a 0. So that from the 0 to the 1 inch is a true 1 inch. Okay. I'm going to put some paper in. I'm going to put 2 sheets in at the same time. That's the recommended way to do this because it gives you a more clear print. If you see this piece here, it's this black tube. It's made out of rubber, and it's kind of hard now, but it used to be soft. Now that it's gotten older, it's gotten harder. It's dried out a little bit, and that's just how it is. Don't try adding water or oil to it. That's not how it works. What we do instead is add another piece of paper, and that makes it so that when these keys go up and hit it, it has a softer surface in the back, and it makes a better image of the letter. Alright, let's set this down. When you put the paper in, you gotta make sure that it's all straight. that it's all the way pressing against that side, and that it's as straight as possible. I'm gonna try to do it with one hand. If I can't do it with one hand, I'm gonna have to put the phone down. Look at that, that's pretty straight. So you can see if it's straight using this plastic cover. If it looks like it's the same all across that side and all across this side, it looks like it's a little bit taller on this side, just by a hair. But I'm going to leave it alone. It's pretty straight. Sometimes it comes out crooked, and you have to move around the paper to make it look straighter. Okay, and I'm using this knob right here. Can you hear the click? If you don't want to hear that click, you can also, I think you push this button and then it's smooth. That's if I don't know why you would want that. I don't mind the clicking. Okay. So that's in place. And this is all the way flush. Let's start typing. Just anything. One key at a time. See, the first letters aren't all that clear. I wasn't pushing down hard enough on the keys. You heard the bell? That bell is to warn you that you're getting close to the edge of the page. You're getting close to your margin, actually, and the margin is set there. So that warning bell, see, I'm trying to press down, but it's not letting me because the margin is set. When you get to that point, don't force it. Don't try to jam down on the key. Just now it's time to start working on finishing your word. Whatever word you have at the edge here, the bell was your first warning. This is your second warning. To keep typing, you need to press MR. That doesn't stand for Mr. That's margin release. So you press that, and that means you can finish your last letter, finish off your word, and then if you still don't have enough room, use a hyphen, and you continue your word on the next row. Let's see what happens if you just keep going. Yeah, it'll let you go all the way to the edge if you don't stop by yourself. So now this is okay, that's the warning. And okay. Notice the space between these two rows, between the G and the J. That's a big space between those two. There's a way to control that. This lever here, right now it's set down all the way. That's triple space. If I move it up one click, moved it up one click, what does it do? You'll see. Look at the difference. Between the J and the K, it got closer. and the K and the G. That's because I moved this lever to double space. So right now, it's at double space. See that difference? If you want to go to single space, move it up 1. This lever moves it up a single space and it helps you push it that way. Look at that. That's single space. Now there's still one more position on this lever over here. It's set to single space right now, but if you move it up one more, this is neutral. I don't know what the real name for this position is. I call it neutral or freestyle. That takes away, that does the same thing as pushing this button here. It just, listen, there's no clicks. You can just move this and it's smooth. The one reason to have it set to this position is if you're filling out an application that has a space for you to fill in your name and the clicks don't line up with the format that the application already has, you can just adjust this to the very exact spot that you need your type to be in. Could be in between lines. Let's see what happens if I do it here. Say I needed it to be right there. See, I was able to put a M right on top of the J. You can move it however you want. See? Okay, well, let's go back to single space. Clickety click. Clickety click slick. This button, see, it does that. This is the shift button. So if you want to make a A, that's just an A. But then if you want to make a capital A, you push the shift button, you hold it down, and it makes an A. If you want to write in all capitals, you hold down shift, you do caps lock, that's the little button on top of that, and you can spacebar, you can type uh-oh. I was going to spell everybody, but there you go. Hello. All caps. That also makes all these top buttons, instead of having numbers, it does all the symbols. %. Alright, now to release this, see that there's a shift on either side, and they both do the same thing. The one on this side won't release the all caps. You have to press this one, and now it's released. Now it's back to regular. The set and the clear button, I don't know what they do. I think it has something to do with tab. I think this is adjustable. For now, tab just gives you some spaces. Just moves it along. Sorry, I don't know how to set that. Let's see. Another thing. Look at all these numbers. Do you see anything missing? Oh, there's no 1. Just a bunch of equals and pluses. So instead of using a 1, you use what? An I? No, that looks like an I. Capital I? That just looks like a capital I. How about an L? That looks just like a 1. So, if you ever need to use a 1, you just use a minuscule L, lowercase L. What else? What else? This lever here, I don't know what this does. There's a plus symbol here. There's a lever. I'm not sure what it's for. This lever here is a color selection. See, the top one is blue, white, red. If you set it to blue, see how that black ribbon holder moves up and down? This ribbon here is your ink ribbon. This presses against the ink ribbon and it makes an image on the paper. Some ribbons are multicolored. You'll have black on top, red on the bottom sometimes, so that you can write in red ink. This would be the way to choose what color ink you're using. Even though it's blue, a blue button here, it's for the black or the top position on here. If you set it to red, it uses the bottom half of the ink ribbon. If you set it to white, this piece here just won't move. So it's just blank. Okay. Backspace. So on a computer, this would be like the delete button. Moves you back. But here, there is no way to erase it. It just moves you back. Let's set this to black. Blue. There's the P's, and I'm going to hit the backspace button. Okay, and if I write L, that L just goes right on top of the P. So what you need to do is have some whiteout, some correction tape or something, and then you can fix your errors once you're done writing your letter, and then go back, and after your correction tape or correction liquid dries off, you can write over it. Okay, let's put the lock back on. No, that's the wrong button. This button. Ah. See, there's this lever here. And that just keeps this propped up. I don't know what it's for. There's another lever. I don't know what that does. Boom! Wow, okay. Let's do that one again. I think this button is for, or I think this thing is for holding papers up. In case you're transcribing something, you can be reading and typing at the same time. But I'm not sure about that because it's going to get in the way. So maybe there's a different function for this. I don't know. It's there. Be careful with it. If you find out what it's for, use it. Be very gentle with it. It's like an antenna. It can break. Hides back there. Maybe you can use it to scare PB. Okay. Now, this whole piece up here can come off. When I take it off, I grab it from down here and I slowly pull it up carefully. And I grab it from there because when you turn this upside down, you can see that's where the springs are. And that helps it stay in place. Set that off to the side. There's a better view of the inside. This, the ink ribbon. See where it goes through? Okay, every time that you hit a key, oh, I have to unlock this. This slowly turns every time you press this. And what it does is it's going the other way. Okay, so this is feeding that direction right now. So what I'm going to do for you after I make the video is either switch these two so that it has more ink on this side, or if I can't, then I'm going to roll this all and wind it so that all the ink is on the beginning. At some point, all the ink ribbon is going to be to one side. I don't know if it alternates. I don't think it does. I think it always just goes one direction, and then you have to swap it. Eventually, the whole thing's going to run out of ink. The whole ribbon's going to be out of ink, and you won't be able to just keep switching it and getting more ink out of it. Another way to get more ink out of it, out of the ribbon, is the ink color setting. If you run out of ink on the blue or the black setting, move it to the red, and then you can use the bottom half of the ink ribbon. I'm going to lift this up, move this little lever out of the way, pull this up slowly so you can see what it looks like. See all those gears? I think they're made to only go in one direction, so don't force it. Don't make it spin the wrong way. Just leave it there and let it do its thing. Same thing on this side. That's what it looks like. I think that's everything. This is the area where the whole machine is the area that you have to keep clean. No crumbs, no dust. When dust gets in here, it jams up the levers and it makes it harder to use them. They get stuck and they don't move as freely. If they ever stop working, or they're really slow and they feel like they're not moving freely, you can add a little bit of oil right here. That's where the joint is, the connection, the swivel point. Using a Q-tip, and not just any kind of oil. The recommended type of oil is something called automatic transmission fluid, and you can pick that up at an auto parts store, Kragen or O'Reilly's, whatever you have where you live. And just a little tiny bit, just let some go in there. And that was a trick that guy who fixed this for me told me about, and he's an expert on this kind of stuff. When you put this lid back on, see that notch right there, and then there's a little post right there. You want to try to make them connect on both sides. Okay, that looks like it's going to work. Let's see. that snapped in space. It's working. It's set to black. Let's see. See that the K is getting weak. I think that's because I've been using this spot of the ribbon. No, I'm gonna switch it to red. See if there's a difference. Oh yeah, see how I got darker? Alright. Guess that's everything. Like I said, I don't know how to use the set, clear, and tab. Everything else should be good. Let's lock this up. That's the spot. Okay, let me show you something on this. See this line here? That's a crack. That's just a dirty spot. This is a crack. And open this up. You can see that there's some cracks along the wall too. And I'm just showing you this so that you see that it's an old piece of machine and it is fragile. It's not something you want to be sitting on or setting other things on top of. You want to take care of this like it was a fancy clock or a computer. You don't sit on it, don't throw it around. Be careful with it and use it. Use it well. Okay, bye.